The barrel of Ethan Caldwell's Smith & Wesson was still hot against Buck Harlan's forehead when he spotted her standing in the doorway of the old red-brick schoolhouse. Sarah Donovan froze there like a ghost from his youth, her auburn hair tied back in a tight bun. But those green eyes, damn, those eyes still burned with the same spark that had kept him awake nights for 5 endless years. Blood dripped from Harlan's ear, where Ethan's shot had grazed him, the thug muttering curses about his kin coming for payback, but Ethan tuned it out. All he could focus on was how Sarah's breath quickened under her modest blouse, her lips parting in disbelief at the sight of him. She'd been 30 when she'd first taught him history. Now at 45, widowed and more striking than ever, she stirred up feelings he'd tried to bury like old war wounds. What happens when a guy comes back to a dusty town to chase a flame that never died? Buckle up, this ride's got more twists than a mountain pass. 3 days prior, Ethan Caldwell had rolled into Willow Creek, Montana, with grit on his tires and a trail of trouble in his rear view. The local paper dubbed him the sharpest shot east of Billings 9 outlaws, and shallow graves backed that up. But as he idled his pickup on the outskirts, watching the quiet ranch town stir under a big sky, none of it mattered. He'd returned for her. The one-room school hadn't changed, faded clapboard siding, a leaning flagpole waving the stars and stripes. Through the grimy window, he saw her pacing with that confident stride, gesturing at a map of the Lewis and Clark Trail. Lord, she was timeless. When the kids spilled out for recess, Ethan finally climbed down, his boots crunching gravel as he neared the door. She was wiping the chalkboard, oblivious, and he stole a second to take her in. Time had softened her edges, adding curves that her simple dress couldn't hide. When she spun around and locked eyes with him, her hand shot to her collar, a move that hit him like a gut punch. Ethan Caldwell, she breathed, barely audible. Look at you all grown up. He'd shot up a foot since her class, bulked out from ranch work and rough living. The lost kid who'd struggled with dates and battles, now a man with a badge and a .45 on his belt. Ma'am, he tipped his hat, feeling like that awkward teen again. Figured I'd stop by and thank my old history teacher. A blush crept up her neck. You can't be here, Ethan. Folks will gossip. Let him. He stepped inside, the room closing in like a trap. Heard about your husband. Sorry for your loss. She fussed with her lesson plans, but her fingers shook. Mark was a fine man. Cancer got him fast, but not fast enough to ease the pain. The words lingered heavy as smoke. When she met his gaze, tears glistened. You've made a name for yourself. The whole county knows about you now. A man's got to choose his path, he growled, rougher than planned. Question is, can he stick to it? She opened her mouth to reply, but the rumble of engines cut through 3 Harlans pulling up in beat-up trucks, dust kicking high. Buck Harlan barged in first, his brothers Jed and Cole backing him with smirks that screamed trouble. Sarah paled but held firm. Mrs. Donovan, Buck leered, eyeing her like prey. Time to chat about your back taxes. I've paid the county, Sarah said, voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. Ain't county taxes, sweetheart. Buck edged closer, crowding her against the desk. This is wild country. Pretty widow like you needs protection, special kind. The implication boiled Ethan's blood. This scum was shaking her down and worse. The lady square. Ethan's voice sliced like a knife. The brothers whirled, hands twitching toward holsters. Buck squinted at Ethan's deputy star. Well, if it ain't Ethan Caldwell. Heard you've been playing hero down in Bozeman. Heard right. Ethan's hand hovered near his gun. Heard you boys been hassling good people too. Jed, the hothead, stepped up. You threatening us, Caldwell. Just facts. Apologized to Mrs. Donovan and hit the road, but we take it outside. Tension crackled like lightning. Sarah gripped the desk, knuckles white. Ethan smelled their sweat, saw the wheels turning. Buck was quick at a rep, but Ethan had stakes. Drawl, Buck snarled, but Ethan's piece was out first. The shot shattered Buck's knife hand, sending his blade flying with a chunk of finger. He howled, clutching a mess. Next one's your ticker, Ethan said, cool as ice. All of you scram. They bolted, tails tucked, but not before Jed yelled, "This ain't done." Ethan turned to Sarah, her eyes wide with iron heat. "You're not the kid I knew," she whispered. "No, ma'am, I'm not." That look from her made every scar worth it. That night, a blizzard howled in from the Rockies, dumping snow like Judgment Day. Ethan was wrapping his shift when he saw her light on in the cabin behind the school. Her shadow moved alone, tugging at him. His knock startled her. She opened the door, wind whipping flakes inside. "Ethan, what in God's name are you doing out here?" Storm hit hard. Motels full of truckers. Thought maybe. She wavered decency versus scandal. "Come in before you turn to ice." Her place was cozy, wood stove crackling, shelves of books, including the history text she'd drilled into him. Coffee. She busied herself, but when their hands brushed passing the mug, sparks flew. She jerked back, eyes dilating, breath hitching. "Sarah," he rasped, "we got to talk about today." "Nothing to say. You saved me, I am grateful." But she dodged his gaze, clutching her robe. He set the cup down, closing in slowly. "That's all? After what I saw in your eyes." She faced the fire, robe slipping, firelight tracing her neck, her form. "This is all I got, Ethan. My rep, my job. I'm 15 years older. I taught you." "Screw the talk." He touched her cheek. She trembled but leaned in. "You're 45. What can I give a guy like you?" "Everything. You gave me smarts, hope, a shot at being better." He whispered, "Loved you since I was 20. Through every rodeo, every bust-up, every empty night." "This is crazy," she murmured, eyes shutting. "Then let's go crazy." His kiss melted her resistance. She pulled him close, moaning softly. Hands roamed his on her waist, hers unbuttoning his shirt. Firelight danced on her skin as she unlaced her top. "Dreamed of this," she confessed, undoing him. He lifted her to the bed, her kisses hot on his neck. But lamplight hit a photo on the nightstand marked Donovan, grinning in his wedding tux, staring like a judge. Sarah stiffened. "Oh no." She covered up, scrambling back. "What am I doing? Mark was good. I can't betray him. He's gone, Sarah. You're alive. But I was his wife. And you were my student. This is wrong." Tears flowed. She flinched from his touch. The rejection stung worse than lead. "So what? I pretend I don't love you? Watch you rot alone. Be the man I raised honorable." Her words cut deep. Outside, the storm raged. Ethan dressed sharply, grabbing his coat. "Stable it is. Wouldn't want to tarnish you." But 3 shots rang out town alarm. Through the window, flames licked the sky. The school ablaze, riders circling with rifles. "The Harlans," Ethan growled, strapping on his belt. "Stay put. My kids' books their futures." Sarah threw on clothes. "I won't let him win." The night turned lethal. Their moment was shattered as duty called. Flames devoured the school like a beast, 6 Harlan riders whooping in the glow. Ethan tallied odds as they snuck close 6-on-1, but with Sarah, stakes skyrocketed. "They're drawing me out," he whispered. "Stay here." "No way." She gripped his arm. Ethan hit Main Street calmly, snow muffling his steps. "Should have stayed gone, Buck," one yelled. Hell erupted. Ethan dropped too quick, diving behind a truck as bullets shredded metal. He rolled, fired, hit another, but a slug grazed his side, another his arm. Bleeding out, odds grim. Then bells told Sarah had rung the church alarm. Lights flicked on. Townsfolk armed up. The Harlans panicked, firing wildly. Ethan stood, using their fury, and nailed 3 more. Only Buck left, groping for a gun. "You're done." Ethan aimed true. Dawn broke cold over Willow Creek, snow bloodstained. The school smoldered like lost hopes. Ethan got stitched by Doc Ellis, the old vet who'd joined the posse. "Lucky bastard," Doc drawled. "Few inches, you'd be pushing daisies." But Ethan's eyes were on Sarah amid the ruins, soot-streaked and crying. "She's blaming herself," Doc noted. "Women do. Harlans are snakes that's on them." Mayor Higgins bustled in, paunchy and puffed. "Caldwell, Town's a bus 6 thug solo. Front page gold. Just my job. Nonsense. Council's offering you a sheriff gig permanent. Good pay, respect, and understanding about personal stuff. He nodded towards Sarah. Ethan's pulse raced. Understanding. You saved our teacher. If you court her right, age be damned. Man's worth ain't in years. Postmayor. Ethan found Sarah clutching a charred textbook. My fault, he said. Nominee. My feelings put everyone at risk. He hugged her. Evil's on them. But good came too. Town's rebuilding brick strong, keeping you teaching. They want us together respectable. Hope lit her eyes. You a skin what I think. Marry me. Let me prove some loves are worth the fight. Yes, she smiled through tears. Their kiss sealed at no shadows. 6 months on, the new school gleamed on Main, windows bright. Sarah Caldwell taught with fire, but now peas too. Ethan watched from the door, her ring flashing as grandma's gold. Sheriff, a kid piped, teach us to shoot? ABC's first, bud. Sarah caught his eye grinning. That night, walking home, she kissed him boldly. Happy. More than deserved. She teased, asking 50 years. Sunset bathed the Rockies in gold. Tomorrow loomed, but tonight, they had each author Montana's wild heart that was gold. What do you think about this story? Drop a comment below sharing your taquito you side with Sarah's initial doubts on the age gap and teacher-student dynamic, or Ethan's pursuit of true love despite the odds. Let me know your stance and why. I'd love to hear your views.